In the United States, political tension is once again rising as former President Donald Trump remains at the center of national attention, controversy, and debate. Even outside the Oval Office, Trump's influence on government policy, political discourse, and public opinion continues to shape America's direction. From policy decisions and legal battles to cultural disputes and power struggles within Washington, Trump's actions and reactions are keeping the country divided and alert. Supporters see him as a strong leader challenging the system, while critics warn that his approach threatens democratic norms. As new developments emerge almost daily, Americans are watching closely to see what comes next and how it could impact the future of the nation. Recent government actions linked to Trump's influence have sparked renewed debate across the political spectrum. One of the most talked about developments is the push for aggressive immigration enforcement. Trump has repeatedly called for tougher border policies, increased deportations, and expanded authority for federal agencies. His allies in Congress continue to push legislation reflecting his hardline stance, arguing that national security and economic stability depend on strict border control. Critics argue that these measures could lead to humanitarian crises, racial profiling, and violations of civil rights. Protests have erupted in several cities as immigration advocacy groups raise concerns about families being separated and asylum seekers facing harsher conditions. Another major area of controversy involves Trump's ongoing legal challenges and how they intersect with government institutions. Trump faces multiple investigations and court cases related to election interference allegations, classified documents, and financial practices. His supporters claim these cases represent politically motivated attacks designed to prevent him from returning to power. Trump himself has publicly accused federal agencies and the justice system of being weaponized against him. These claims have fueled distrust in government institutions among millions of Americans, creating a dangerous divide in how citizens perceive law enforcement and the rule of law. At the same time, Trump's influence over the Republican Party remains strong. Many GOP lawmakers continue to align themselves closely with his messaging, echoing his criticisms of the media, federal agencies, and political opponents. Party leaders face pressure to either support Trump fully or risk losing voter support. This dynamic has reshaped internal Republican politics, pushing the party further toward populist rhetoric and away from traditional conservative norms. Some long-time Republicans have openly expressed concern that loyalty to Trump is overshadowing policy discussions and long-term strategy. Trump's impact on government decision-making is also visible in economic debates. He has renewed calls for tariffs on foreign goods, especially targeting China, arguing that tough trade policies are necessary to protect American workers and industries. While some manufacturing groups support these measures, economists warn that widespread tariffs could increase consumer prices and strain global trade relationships. The debate highlights a broader clash between nationalist economic policies and global market cooperation. With Trump firmly positioned on the side of economic nationalism, cultural and social issues are another battleground where Trump's influence is felt. He has frequently spoken out against what he calls political correctness and what he describes as government overreach in education, media, and corporate policies. His comments on gender issues, race, and free speech often spark immediate backlash and widespread discussion online. Supporters praise him for saying what others will not, while critics argue his rhetoric deepens social divisions and encourage hostility. These controversies dominate news cycles and social media platforms, keeping Trump at the center of public discourse. The relationship between Trump and the media remains deeply adversarial. Trump continues to accuse major news organizations of spreading misinformation and acting as political opponents rather than neutral reporters. This ongoing conflict has reshaped how millions of Americans consume news, with many turning to alternative media outlets that align with their political beliefs. The erosion of trust in mainstream media has long-term implications for democracy. As shared facts become harder to establish in an increasingly polarized society, foreign policy discussions linked to Trump's legacy are also resurfacing. His previous approach to international alliances, NATO funding, and diplomatic relations with countries like Russia and North Korea remains controversial. Some policymakers argue that Trump's assertive style forced allies to contribute more fairly, while others believe it weakened global cooperation and emboldened authoritarian leaders. As global tensions continue to rise, debates over America's role on the world stage are once again influenced by Trump's past and potential future leadership. Public reaction to Trump's continued presence in politics is intense and emotional. Rallies draw massive crowds, with supporters expressing loyalty and enthusiasm that few political figures can match. At the same time, opposition movements remain strong, organizing protests and campaigns aimed at preventing his return to power. This polarization has created an atmosphere where compromise feels increasingly rare, and political identity has become deeply personal for many Americans. As election discussions grow louder, Trump's actions and statements are closely analyzed for clues about his intentions. Whether he positions himself as a challenger to the current administration or as a symbol of resistance against the political establishment, his role in shaping the national narrative is undeniable. Every speech, court appearance, and policy statement becomes a flashpoint, driving headlines and shaping public opinion. In the broader picture, Trump's government-related actions and controversies highlight deeper issues within the American political system. Questions about accountability, trust in institutions, media influence, and the balance of power continue to dominate national conversation. For some, Trump represents a fight against corruption and elitism. For others, he represents a threat to democratic stability. As the country moves forward, these unresolved tensions will likely define America's political landscape for years to come. The story of Trump and his impact on government is far from over. With each new development, the divide between supporters and critics grows sharper, making unity increasingly difficult. What happens next could reshape policies, elections, and the very structure of American governance. One thing is certain: Trump's presence in U.S. politics continues to command attention, provoke strong emotions, and influence the direction of the nation in ways few leaders ever have.